so much. Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thank you ever so much for joining us on this meeting regarding how we can make use of the support that's available for pre-startups all the way to established businesses. And there's a lots of different opportunities, and it's finding out what's the best opportunity to help you with your business moving forward. And I'm really excited. At the end of this presentation, we're going to spend a little bit of time to find out a bit more about your business ideas and hopefully have an open conversation where we can find out what you're potentially looking to do or what you're already doing with regards to your potential businesses. So my name's Emily Wright, and I'm one of the business managers at the Let's Do Business Group. I did have a video that was, I'm afraid, doesn't work. So I will send in the slides out and other documentation. So I hope you guys get to the opportunity to watch the video, and that gives more detail and an overview on who the Let's Do Business Group is. But I'm afraid you're going to just have to hear from me for a little bit about regards to who we are. So the Let's Do Business Group has been operating now for 25 years. Our headquarters is in Hastings, and we have a range of different services in-house, all around economic developments, business support, and helping pre-startups. So to give you an idea about the different contracts we've got, I run the Hastings Rise, which supports individuals and businesses in the local area get tailored business support. We have two large business centres that we look after, one in New Haven called New Haven Enterprise Centre and one in Essex called Ongar. We've also got a team in Essex delivering business support and helping businesses access finance. We also run Hastings Chamber locally, and we've got our two finance arms, and those are where our commercial services come under the Let's Do Business Group. So we've got the Let's Do Business Finance, and that helps establish businesses that have been trading over the 3 years period to help them get loan funding up to £150,000. But we're also backed by the British Bank, and that support enables us to deliver the startup loan scheme, and that's for pre-startups. I'll give you more information on that in a bit. I wanted to start the conversations and giving some insight into what policies there are with setting up a business here in the UK and how to structurally set up those entities. We have a range of different things that you can consider. Obviously, it would be really worthwhile at the end of this session to have a more conversation into your different business ideas and potentially see what best structure those might be. But I wanted to give you some information. I also provide handouts for you to have, which will break down these different elements in more detail, so you can have a look at them at a later date as well. But the kind of business legal structures that there are is a sole trader. So this is an element where you will register with HMRC and you'll become self-employed. You will be required to do what's classed as your self-assessments, and that's one thing to bear in mind. We can also, what I can do is send you some information regarding what are self-assessments, what kind of documentation you would need to store to be able to submit that information. So that's be something that we can share out. A sole trader is someone who is self-employed. They could potentially look at employment at later on as a sole trader, but we can talk more about that at a later date. But a sole trader is someone who is self-employed. You have a private limited company, so I imagine a lot of you have seen those limited company arms. You register with Companies House, and you will have a private limited company. There are other aspects to limited by guarantee. That's something to bear in mind. That is an entity that has that's not a not-for-profit. Here at the Let's Do Business Group, we have our services partly under a limited by guarantor, and that's where you have a guarantor, sorry, within the entity, and you can have guarantors where a range of you will be involved in that activity of that entity. A community interest company is also known as a CIC, is a company that's borderline in between a limited private company and a charity. So it's in between the two. And a community interest company, which is really key, can make profit, but that profit gets reinvested into the CIC to deliver a range of different activities into the community. Do bear in mind that there will be a requirement again to be registered in Companies House. You have to go through a process as well to be approved. So there's a little bit more work than setting up a limited company. But that is where you're borderline in between a limited company and a charity. And then there's a charity. Now, a charity, again, do bear in mind you have to go through extra processes to become a charity. But this is where you're solely delivering services into the community to help. And that is where you would have extra paperwork that you do need to consider. So it would be definitely worthwhile us having a conversation at the end of this presentation to really get an idea about the potentially business ideas that you may have and how to best look at what kind of structures those may be. But those are the tend to be the ones that we see on a regular basis through our support here at the Let's Do Business Group. And let me move on. So I wanted to have this part where we open up to the audience about your ideas, but we're going to leave that to the end because this is being videoed. We wanted to be conscious of people not wanting to talk because of having to share obviously their video and screens and stuff. So we're going to leave that to the end. But please, any questions as well as we go through, do keep to the end of the presentation. As mentioned, the Let's Do Business Group is one of the delivery partners for the Startup Loan Scheme. The Startup Loan Scheme is available to businesses at a pre-startup stage, all the way to where they've been trading less than 3 years. I want you to bear this in mind, that this is not a business loan. So even if you're set up as a limited company, this will be a personal loan to you. So that is something that I really like to highlight again, is it's a personal loan, not a business loan, but it's used for business purposes. You would be required to go through a credit check process. And funding is up from £500 up to £25,000. Now, if you were a limited company and you had 4 directors within that limited company, you could potentially look at applying for £100,000 loan. So each director could look at applying for the maximum £25,000. But that is if you've got the 4 directors within the company. Just to give you an idea, average loans that are administrated are between around £15,000 to £20,000. Repayment term is 12 to 16 months, but it's at a fixed rate of 6%. There is no setup fees or early repayments. So say, for example, you went for an application of £20,000 and that was approved. And then you decided that actually that £20,000 is not what you needed and you wanted to pay back that £10,000. And that's you would be charged to that. You wouldn't be charged admin fees or set up that loan as well. You will be required to complete a business plan, a personal survival budget, a sales forecast, and a 12-month cash flow forecast. But don't worry, I'm going to go into a bit more detail about that through the next slides about a business plan and how we can then look at the cash flow as well. But you can download these 3 templates. All this will be provided after the presentation as well. As it's a personal loan, you will be required to submit 3 months bank statements. And if the business is already trading, we also do require 3 months of business bank statements as well. If you do have any questions after this presentation and after our chat later on, there is an email address provided as well. So we're always happy to have questions and have a chat through any of the stuff that you may have that you would like to discuss. Business planning. Even if you're not looking into the possibility of finance, business planning is really key. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes I find it really difficult to have a clear direction. But by doing the business plan, this enables you to have that clear direction of where you want to take your business. It's a great way to give you, it's a working document, and it's a great way to give you that focus. You can look at defining obviously your business goals and objectives. And it's really key to have a clear vision, mission, and values for what you want from your business. It also improves your decision making as well. It enables you to see everything clearly in a working document where you can refer back to that to see if that's the right decision for your business moving forward. It's a great way to identify risks and opportunities as well. Being able to mind map the potential opportunities on how to grow this business, grow your social media is a great way to use this as your working documents and to keep referring back to as well. A lot of people produce business plans and tend to not use them as working documents. But please, if you do spend the time of putting a business plan together, use it as a working document that you constantly refer back to and adapt. It's a great way to have a clear structure around your communication through your social media as well. And a marketing strategy is also very key with working alongside your business plan. But business plan is also a great way to attract funders. And it's a way that you take that individual who is assessing your application through the journey to be able to see hear from your eyes what you want from this business and really see about the potential opportunities as well within the business to move it forward. So if there's anything that I would recommend is to look at a business plan, to start business planning everything, and we can send out those free templates as well. Startup loans have templates, but we also have on our website have where you can download those templates as well with a business plan and marketing strategy. But to give you an idea what potentially is within a business plan, I wanted to run through this aspect with you. And it's to give you those headings as well. Having a template is fantastic, but sometimes it's really difficult to be able to be creative within those templates. And I always use them as the kind of give you a pathway of what would need to be put into those documentation. But you don't necessarily need to use the whole template. Use mind maps as well. And hopefully, if anyone's got a question regarding what mind maps are, I'll be very happy to answer. But they're a fantastic way to be creative when putting together your business plan. Because I know how daunting it can be, and it's trying to squeeze as much information into a template. But if you can use those headings, and this is really key, you need to give a good summary of your business, where you're potentially going to operate that business from, your mission statement of what you want to achieve with this business model, a summary of your product or service that you're going to provide, the target market that you want to reach out to, and your financial goals that you want to achieve from this business model moving forward. Your business description, provide detail about the business, industry overview. So who else is operating within this industry is really key that you're looking to go into. Business structure, really spend the time to have a think about the different business structures that are there and which one would be the best one for your business model. setting your goals that you want to achieve with smart objectives to make sure that you can really be focused on achieving those objectives as well. Market analysis is really key as well. Really having a clear understanding of who else is providing those product or services, how they also market themselves within online, if they have a website, what social media platforms that they're using, how they market themselves. So is that through blog posts as well? What you like about how they market themselves and what you dislike as well. This is a great way to start building that marketing strategy as well, which is really key to give you a clear outline about how you want your brand to be seen as well. Brand awareness is also a whole new topic as well, which is really key to make sure how you've been seen by your customers. Target your audience. Knowing who your customer is very important. And there's an exercise that you can do where you start to be like a persona of your audience. What are their potential age? Where would they potentially be in the UK or overseas? How do they like to be marketed to? Would that be through Facebook, or would that be through newsletters, or would that be mailing through the newspaper? It's all having these different aspects and thinking about how your customer would also like to be marketed to. Product or services is detailing your offering. What is it that you're offering as a product? What are the benefits? What is your USP? What makes you different from others that already have a business within what you're looking to do? And really give insight into what are the benefits as well. Financial planning. This is really key. And a lot of pre-startups look at this and don't spend a huge amount of time, but this is really vital. This is the chance to really get an understanding of the potential growth opportunities within the business, to give you an idea of your pricing point as well. What are your margins on your product and services that you're going to be providing, and really gives you a clear plan of how you could look at growing that for the future. Some financial forecasts can look into 12 months. You can go up to 5 years if you like to. But at early stages, it's good to put together a 12-month forecast and then adapt that as you go and start to get some data behind your business entity. Cash flow is really difficult for many businesses, especially if you're producing product. It can take a time where you will be waiting for producing that product, selling that product, and then waiting for the money to come back in. And that's really key to understand that process so that you can embed the information into a cash flow forecast. Your operational plan, how do you run that entity day to day? What could you put into place to help you be as efficient as possible? We all know how difficult it is keeping up with emails. So what could you put into place to help that? If you're looking to become a sole trader, you have a lot of different aspects that you've got to consider. Not only will you be running that business, but you'll be the marketeer, you'll be the finance director, you'll be the salesperson. So there's many hats to fill. And how do you do that as efficiently as possible whilst working in the business, but also on it? And you could look at doing this through automated systems. So for example, if you had a huge volume of inquiries and that you were spending time working on the business, you could look at having automated responses to those inquiries. For example, if I sent you an email to say that I would love to find out more about your service or product, an automated email could go out to that inquiry to say thank them for their inquiry, and that you look forward to discussing this in more detail with them. And you could, for example, have a calendar where they could then book an appointment to meet with you. That then refines a lot of your processes. That helps with managing your time as efficiently as possible. But those are a few things. And again, we can discuss that in more detail after we've gone through the slides. Supporting documents, maybe obviously your insurance that you're going to need to operate, licenses, potential premises. What do those commercial premises look like? Potential lease agreements that you may need to that you may consider. So for now, commercial premises lease agreements have changed dramatically. So they used to be that you signed up for 10 years. Now there's more flexi, so that there isn't such a big commitment with commercial premises, depending on the commercial premises that you may be going for. So that could be hot desking, office spaces, retail space, light industrial, and so on. Again, we can talk about that later on in our conversation after we finish the slides. This is a really key aspect about what do you want from your business entity personally and financially. This is a huge step going into self-employment, setting up a company, and you'll be spending a lot of time, and that love is it's going to be difficult sometimes. It's going to be a huge challenge, and there's going to be a lot of barriers. But you really need to know what you want to get out of this business as well, to show the motivation as well on that journey, to help you keep that dedication as well, because it's very scary, and it can be super lonely as well. So we really need to understand as well, what do you need from this business moving forward? And within the startup loan scheme, the personal survival budget is part of the process that needs to be completed. So let's go run through this quickly. So what it does, it asks you, what is your income? So what's your personal income? So that could be from a potential employment, any benefits that you receive. This will then add it up for the total income across all sources. And then the bottom is your personal expenses. So what is your rent or mortgage, your council tax, your utilities, your phone and internet, and you can break those down. And again, that will add that up and subtract that from your personal income. One of the criteria with the startup loan scheme is personal affordability. So this will be information that the assessor assesses to make sure that you are able to fulfill the loan repayments. But if you're not looking at applying for a startup loan, I would really recommend going through this process, because it gives you clearer understanding of those potential outgoings that you've got and what you potentially need to make from that business as well to cover your personal expenses. Now, this is the cash flow forecast. Now, this is a screenshot, so it's really difficult. But what I can do after we've finished off the slides, I can show you how to, when embedding a cash flow forecast, how it works and what it does, and how it can help you. But again, like your personal survival budget, it asks you, what is it that's coming in with regards to your cash? So what's coming in from sales? So that could be sales from your website, sales from any markets you may do if you were looking at product selling. Any other sources of sales, you can then embed that so that the cash flow has a clear understanding of where those sales are potentially coming through and the volume of those sales. And then again, like your personal survival budget, it breaks down the cash flow that's going out. So the things that it would consider. If you were producing product, it would look at the cost of how much it costs to produce that product. Or if you were delivering a service, how much it would cost to deliver that service with regards to your time. If you have business premises, that would be broken down into your cash flow out. Again, like your personal survival budgets, it would go be with your utilities, insurance, telephone, marketing, equipment that you may need, and then any professional fees. If you set up as a limited company, you may have some accountancy fees that need to be added into this, into your cash flow forecast, and any staff that you may have, or what salary that you would like to take out from the business. So this is your cash flow forecast. With regards to looking at funding and potential funding that may be available, it can be very daunting. But have a look around to see what might be available. Do reach out to like your chambers, Sarah. Brighton Chamber is a great resource to be able to reach out and find out about potential funders that may be available. Grant funding has changed dramatically since leaving the EU. Pots of funding that used to be available to sole traders and limited companies has changed. There is very little grant funding, but if you're structurally set up as a CIC or a charity, there's other pots of funding that may be available, but more sorry, how do you start? More people and businesses, entities are going for those pots because of the smaller amounts that are available with regards to those funding streams. So do bear that in mind. When putting together a grant application, it's really key to make sure you read those guidance notes, look at the criteria. All funders have something that they need to achieve with their investment. Some may be that they want to create jobs. Some may be wanting to look at innovation of products, services. So they all have a kind of criteria that they've got to achieve. So aligning your business to that criteria is really key. So whoever's setting your application can see where the links are to their funding pots and your business. Look at case studies. Look at who they've potentially funded previously, what that funding did. What did it do for that business? Was it to look at buying equipment? Did it help with staff cost? And it's a great way to get a good idea of the kind of applications that have been approved by that funder. Really justify why that funding is needed and the level of funding. Having a clear idea exactly why you need that funding and the kind of cost to do those aspects that you need is really key. So, for example, if you were looking at a startup loan and you said, well, £5,000 is going to be towards marketing. Well, that's brilliant, but more detail is going to be needed. So you would say, well, £1,000 is going to be looking at setting up my social media accounts, enabling me to have some investment to do social media advertisement. 1,500 to 2,000 will be on the website development and any software that's going to be needed to help run and operate that website. I'm going to be looking to do more campaigns, and that will be then invested. That gives the funders enough information to really understand what you're potentially looking to do with that investment and how that's going to be able to maximize and support your business moving forward. Do make sure you proofread all your information that's being provided as well. Do ask other people to have a look through your application, see if they've got a clear idea about what you're looking to do and why you need this money. Thank you very much. I hope that was helpful, and I'm really looking forward to finding out more information and start opening up the conversations to you guys.